March 1st, ArcMap entered the mature support phase of the product lifecycle. This marks the last milestone before the upcoming retirement of ArcGIS Desktop. For ArcMap users, now is a great time to plan your transition to ArcGIS Pro.
To help us understand what this all means for those who are still using ArcMap, we are joined by our good friend Erica Morra. She is the Director for Product Management at Esri Canada, and that's a pretty fancy title, Erica. I love it. Welcome to the podcast.
I like that title too. Thank you. Thanks again for inviting me to chat with the both of you today. I'm really happy to be here, actually.
Well, we're happy that you're here because we have a really important topic. And as Maggie mentioned, this month is an important one in the life of our desktop software. So maybe start by sharing with us what is happening and basically why are you here?
Absolutely. So, Esri has always been focused on delivering the very best GIS software. And that journey began, decades ago, right? With ArcInfo Workstation, then followed by ArcView, and then I think it was 1999, right? I think there was a Prince song named after it. We made this huge leap forward, right? With the release of ArcMap, not Prince's song. So 25 years ago. And then after that, an even huger leap forward with ArcGIS Pro, building on the whole web GIS paradigm. So why am I telling you all of this? Well, as you stated at the beginning of our chat today, just over 2 years ago, the final release of ArcMap was released, and we've all known from that time that ArcMap is nearing the end of its very long life. I remember attending the virtual Dev Summit that year, talking to developers about their migration plans for any custom add-ins that they built for ArcMap, applications built with ArcGIS Engine, which is like a standalone version of ArcMap, and thinking, wow, this is really big. Fast forward to present day, next month marks a really significant milestone in the product lifecycle when it enters the mature support phase, which is a really important from a support perspective. So to ensure that our customers are using the very best tooling we have to offer, now is the time for the next phase of their desktop GIS journey, which is ArcGIS Pro.
Absolutely. It's time to go to ArcGIS Pro. And we know ArcGIS Pro isn't new anymore. It's been around for a while. But for people who are concerned, is it capable of doing everything that it would have been able to do in ArcMap?
So Pro was released 9 years ago, right? So in the technology world, that's like 9 dog years, right? Jokes aside, what I'm saying is that ArcGIS Pro is a mature product. It's not a new product, right? It is in a ready state to replace ArcMap. And in many cases, its capabilities go way beyond what's achievable with ArcMap. But having said that, we know that there are folks out there that probably have not migrated to ArcGIS Pro because ArcMap suits their workflows just fine today. But it's really, really important for those customers to begin their ArcMap to Pro journey now so we can uncover any gaps and address them.
Right. Yeah. This reminds me a lot when I was at Esri Inc. and ArcMap first came out in 99 and, people were still using ArcInfo Workstation and then an ArcView and that transition, they had their specific workflows and how could you migrate it over? So we're kind of saying, going through the same song and dance again. I really found it interesting what you said about specific workflows. So I know there's a lot of ArcMap users that say that their workflows and ArcMap are working and they don't really need to make the migration. So how should they approach this transition towards ArcGIS Pro?
I would say just start familiarizing yourself with the vast self-help resources that have been created over the past several years, right? And also just playing with the new Pro UI, right? The look and feel is so much different compared to ArcMap. And I think this is the hurdle that I encountered when I first started working with Pro. And be open to exploring new, different ways for solving the same problems with GIS, because in many cases, there is a one-to-one replacement for some common tools and workflows, but in other cases, Pro does things completely different. So you'll have to kind of embrace a different approach. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I know it could be scary for sure, but it's not that bad. Even I made a transition. I used ArcMap for I used it for 2 years in school, I didn't want to change, but it was not so difficult. And there's so many self-help resources, as you mentioned. It just means you got to start. But the actual UI is different and some of the tools might be different. It's not the only difference that people will notice with ArcGIS Pro. We know that they've also introduced a different licensing model. Could you speak a little bit to what that different model looks like and how it might impact users and how they work with GIS?
Mm-hmm. So what you're referring to there is what is generally called the named user licensing model. Sometimes, I mean, we've called it different things over the years, but so the other term you may have heard is the identity model. It sort of means the same thing. I would say that it's debatable in calling it new.
Yeah.
New for some. It may require an adjustment for some customers. But it's certainly not new. But for customers who may have started out with ArcMap or started out, and made the transition to Pro with some of those kind of legacy licensing models in place, right? Certainly, it's going to take a little while to kind of warm up to. And really, there are some like fundamental differences here, right? So with concurrent use and single use licensing, right? Like we are handing out software licenses to machines, right? And machines are nameless, right? We don't know what they do, what are their jobs to be done. But with a named user model that's tied to your specific credentials, it's also tied to a persona, like your persona as part of the ArcGIS system, right? So, and with the named user model, we're really tailoring the software and its capabilities to people, right? And the type of work that they need to do with the software all across the system and not just with Pro.
Yeah, I always kind of liken this to Microsoft Office, right? Now you have your name associated with it, so you can access that on any machine, and you have full access to the whole suite of software. So I kind of find that very similar to what we do in ArcGIS. Now I know there's a lot of people out there that are kind of thinking to themselves, is ArcGIS Pro the only option when it comes to replacing work done in ArcMap?
Certainly not. I mean, I would say that as part of exploring the capabilities of Pro, you may also want to look at some of the advancements, particularly with ArcGIS Online, the map viewer in ArcGIS Online, or some of the new instant apps that we've built for purpose for specific types of workflows. It may be that one of those apps, right, those web-based apps may suit your needs better than migrating completely to Pro. So I think it's a good time to kind of explore what is in the system and seeing if there's a more appropriate choice for you.
Absolutely. I find I'm spending more than half of my time in ArcGIS Online now, using Pro a lot less than I ever did before. So it's important to definitely take a look at what's available because there's so much more than just a one-to-one replacement. So thanks for highlighting that, Erica.
Mm-hmm.
And we covered a lot of stuff today already, and it's a big topic. But if you could just, as we always do when we wrap up these conversations, remind our listeners of 3 things or 3 key points that they should remember when thinking about this process of the ArcMap retirement.
The one thing that I haven't talked about yet is with ArcGIS Pro, it actually has quite a more heavy expectation of hardware, right? So make sure that you meet the system requirements, right? Like, so the machines that you have that you were running Pro can actually, that you were running ArcMap can actually run Pro, right? And if not, maybe look at some other apps like Instant Apps or Map Viewer, right, as an interim replacement. So that would be the first thing to check. The other thing is embrace the ribbon in Pro's contextual interface. Don't fight it like I did, and it took me so long to wrap my arms around Pro. Start playing with the software, right? Using, they have like these wonderful built-in getting started tutorials just to kind of get your feet wet, right? Take training. There's tons of training available if you need to ramp up more quickly. And like I said before, report those functionality gaps to technical support. So I think that was 2, but a lot of things in 2. The third thing I would say is around the named user licensing. So if this is new to you, and if you're a customer who's accustomed to, managing your users, right, with, single use, concurrent use licensing, I would start looking at some of this. We actually have a story map that you yourself built, Maggie, about the benefits of the named user model. Have a look at that story map, that to kind of bring you up to speed to the benefits of the named user model and using Pro as a connected GIS to the ArcGIS system. This really is the path forward for licensing ArcGIS technology across the system. So that would be the third thing.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Erica. And before we let you go, we did also want to, is there anything you want to talk about anything people can do to keep up to date with these things and what's going on in the technology?
Yeah, absolutely. You can subscribe to our Getting Technical newsletter. That's one thing. But yeah, if you just go to, I think it's on our website, you can set up your communication preferences and it automatically lands in your inbox.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today. That was Erica Morra, Director for Product Management at Esri Canada, and she joined us today from Whitby, Ontario.